Now, there is great excitement ahead of the Rugby World Cup final clash between the Springboks and the All Blacks. Will you now cross live to SABC News sport reporter Simon Burke, who is in Presles, just north of Paris, where the Springboks are based ahead of Saturday's final. Simon, history beckons for either of these teams as they look to win this trophy for an unprecedented fourth time. How is the atmosphere in the north of Paris?
Yeah, Molly, I'm at the Salle Jeanne d'Arc, so there's some history for you. We're in one of the satellite towns surrounding Paris, about an hour and 40 minutes outside. It's a nice, quiet little hamlet, perfect for the Springboks to put their heads down and get ready for this final. We saw them at practice today in Dumont, which is a little town further down. And by all accounts, they looked rested, they looked focused, they looked full of beans. And they got on with the job in some rain, in some drizzle. It's a steady drizzle. It hasn't left us as we've been walking through the villages from train station to train station, such as life in France at around about this time of year.
So just in terms of the Springboks, you saw them during training today. Do we have an idea of any injury concerns? What is happening in the camp at the moment?
No injury concerns to speak of right now. We listened to Don Human, who is the scrumming consultant. We also heard from Jean Klein and Marvin Ori, who are both part of the squad of the Springboks. It just sounds like they've had time to themselves. They were talking about a lot about family and getting on with the job at hand of facing the All Blacks on Saturday at the Stade de France. It's going to be a huge match. The only question mark hanging over the head of this squad is that of I Mbonambi. And at the beginning of the press conference, Human was able to confirm that World Rugby and SA Rugby are talking about the allegations made against the Springbok hooker to the English flanker Tom Curry. And for more on this, which seems to be a story that's just burning away in the background, I'm going to be joined by seasoned journalist Adnan Mohammed, who is going to talk us through this. Adnan, thank you for being with us. Talk about this. It's from our perspective, we don't have many facts to work with except the television playback. But apart from that, the Springbok squad not saying much.
Yeah, Simon, nobody was able to say anything concrete because there was nothing, or they didn't really admit that Bongi was guilty of anything. So at the moment, as it stands now, it's still up in the air, and there's no real concrete answer from the side of SA Rugby and World Rugby.
Do we know where these who's driving these allegations? Is this something that a certain contingent of the press is continuing to hammer home? Because it lasted for a fair while, but was amongst the English journalists per se.
Yeah, clearly the English journalists were with a. They came with a plan, and they've been asking questions consistently. I think the first 5 or 6 questions was just based on the issue of Bongi, and but they didn't come away with any answers. So they were really frustrated, I think, when they left the hall here today.
Brilliant, and they've got a long walk back to the station. So clearly, yes, we got to hoof it back now. We can't dilly-dally and chat more, but that is the latest from the Springbok camp as we prepare to go into the darkness, into the rain, in this little French sleepy town, and make our way back to the station. As South Africans don't really know where we're going. We walk in packs, not for safety's sake, just to figure out where we're going.
Always good to hear from you, Simon. Thank you so much for that update. SABC Sports reporter Simon Burke. As we have heard, World Rugby is going to be looking into those allegations where I Mbonambi, the South African hooker, has been accused of racial slurs against Tom Curry, the England flanker, in that Saturday night semi-final that took place. Any updates we'll definitely give to you right here on The Full View.